Imagine one day you can hold your breath longer just like professional freedivers do. Wouldn't that be awesome? So how come these freedivers can hold their breath for several minutes while you seem to struggle for only 1 minute or 1:30? How is this possible? Are freedivers superhumans? No, they're not. They know one specific trick that they apply in their training methods that makes them hold their breath longer. We're going to talk about it. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy, helping you master freediving. So, how are you guys holding your breath? Well, you're holding your breath until you can't anymore, right? You're holding your breath until a maximum, until you cannot hold your breath anymore. That's how you hold your breath, right? And that is exactly the problem. So freedivers, they have discovered that when you keep on doing this, you're basically training your mind and your body to anticipate on the not so pleasant feelings you're going to have when you hold your breath. I mean, come on, who likes contractions? Who likes the urge to breathe? So somewhere when your breath hold begins to become more difficult, you're gonna start feeling these contractions, right? So the spasms, the diaphragmatic spasms that you feel in your stomach area. Who likes this? This is for most people, and especially for beginners, the reason to abort the breath hold. Now, because many people, when they start the breath holds, they already think about those contractions. They already think about the negative feelings they're going to have. And that is why lots of people that don't like static breath holding, that's why they don't like to hold their breath, is because you have conditioned your mind and body to anticipate on the bad feelings that come with the last part of your breath hold. Freedivers, they know this. Freedivers, they know that they have to train to condition themselves for pleasant feelings. And that is why professional freedivers, including myself, we have switched from always wanting to hold our breath longer to doing less intensity breath holds with more volume. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's actually a training method. More volume, less intensity. So instead of doing 1 or 2 breath holds to the maximum, which would be high intensity, now you're going to do a shift in approach, a shift in training for breath holding. You're going to do multiple breath holds, which is higher volume, with lower intensity. And lower intensity means until the first contraction or the first definite urge to breathe. So when you feel this unpleasant feeling like, hey, I gotta breathe right now, I really don't like this anymore, that is the first definite manifestation of the urge to breathe. And we freedivers, we call this a contraction, but if you're not familiar with contractions yet, then it can be just this urge to breathe, this overall just feeling that you're not comfortable anymore. So, you want to condition your mind to look forward to holding your breath, to have these pleasant feelings. You know, it's all about mindset, right? Freediving is all about the mental approach. There is not so much physical training. I mean, we always talk about CO2 tolerance training, and then we imagine that we are creating more tolerance to CO2 in our body. But what in fact happens is just the mind that you're training. It's a mental training. So, switch from always wanting to hold your breath to a maximum, basically stop holding your breath to a maximum, switch to multiple breath holds to the first contraction. And if you want to know how that works in one session, well, do for instance 8 breath holds until your first contraction with 3 minutes of rest in between. Now it can be 2 minutes also, but let's take 3 minutes so you know you can be absolutely sure that you have rested enough in between. So 3 minutes rest in between those 8 breath holds. The rest is always tidal breathing, which is minimal breathing, small inhalation, small exhalation, just normal, light breathing, like if you would be watching TV or reading a book. We call this tidal breathing. And then you take a final breath, and you're going to hold your breath again until the first contraction, and then you stop. And again, 3 minutes of rest, and again, you hold your breath to the first contraction. 8 times you do this in one session. This way, you are conditioning yourself to actually look forward to a breath hold, to like the breath hold, to embrace the joyful feelings that come with holding your breath. And you will see that the more you do this, the more you will extend this first phase of the breath hold, which we call the relaxation phase. So the first phase of your breath hold before the contractions come, which is actually a nice, enjoyable phase, you can extend that. You can make that phase bigger, longer, by doing this kind of training. So you might say, yeah, but Gert, I mean, when we go for a maximum breath hold, we're going to have contractions anyway, so shouldn't we be training for these contractions? Yes, but way less than you're doing right now. So freedivers, when they go for a maximum breath hold, they don't do this every day. They do this once in a while, but most of the time they're training on a smaller, more decreased intensity with higher volume. If you are a professional marathon runner, are you training by running marathons every single day? Of course not. You are training by running smaller distances, and when marathon day comes, then you will be ready to run the actual marathon. So in holding your breath, in training for holding your breath, it's exactly the same. You're not going to hold your breath to a maximum every single day, because this has a huge impact on your recovery. It has a huge impact on your central nervous system. It shocks your body. You cannot shock your body every single day. It has a detrimental consequence on your recovery and on the mental aspect. You will not look forward to holding your breath anymore. And the worst thing you can do is starting a breath hold already knowing that you won't like it. I mean, how can you go for a maximum breath hold when you start the breath hold with a negative mindset, already thinking about the contractions, already thinking about, I'm not gonna like this. Who the hell is good in something that he or she doesn't like? That doesn't happen. We are only good in stuff that we enjoy doing. So the key, the secret here to enjoy static breath holding, to enjoy your breath holds, is to do more easy breath holds, more low intensity breath holds until your first contraction. Now, once in a while, you're gonna go for higher intensity, but you're gonna minimize those efforts and maximize the low intensity, high volume efforts. If you enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. That is it, guys. Peace, every breath.